Hello everybody and welcome to this Scorpio 2025 horoscope, which is super exciting. So you can watch this for your sun, moon or rising, but I will say it's going to be a lot more accurate for a Scorpio rising, and we should always really be watching for our rising signs if we know them anyway. So I'm going to talk about the key themes for the year and then also break this down month by month. So let's just get into it. So the key themes for this year, Scorpio, are you're going to be focusing on transformations with your dating life, with focusing on children, expressing yourself creatively, and just generally being a lot more open. You'll also have a good focus on career and your wellness routine. If you're a Scorpio that's had injuries, then you're really going to be focusing on trying to remedy these, focusing on losing weight and putting weight on, gaining muscle, that kind of thing. You're working on your wellness routine as a whole. You'll also have some elements of study and travel as well. So let's move to January. So Mars retrograde in Leo on the 6th of December 2024. It's now going up to 6th of January 2025, and then it will move on to something else. So Mars is the planet of war and aggression and sex drive and that kind of vitality. And Leo is powerful and masculine, and it's basically the sun, right? So these two together, very fiery, very sort of David Goggins, I'm a warrior, I will not quit mentality, which can be used for good, but really it yields a lot of frustration and anger too. You have this in your house number 10, so this will be the house of career. So you could have frustrations around career, particularly feeling like things are not working out for you, but you can also use that kind of anger and that drive to be more focused with your career. So for example, if you desire a change in your career, use that passion for direction. Then Venus will be in Pisces in your 5th house. You'll see a lot of energy with the 5th and 6th house this year, Scorpio. So on the 2nd of January, Venus will leave Aquarius and enter Pisces, which is a much more dreamy, delusional and compassionate love sign. And you could find more harmony with your dating life here, more kind of creative pursuits. And I think this is going to be a really good energy for you to have in the first month of the year as well, because it kicks it off into a good start, feeling more like playful and fun, like less so serious and dark. It's more like, yeah, this is good. Then Mars will be retrograding in Cancer in the 9th house for you from the 6th of January to the 23rd of February. Mars in Cancer is not its best place to be because Mars is very aggressive and Cancer is very sensitive. So together it's like screaming and crying at the same time, and it's like, you're scaring me. So it's not a great energy. But this will highlight frustrations with studies and travel and may cause you to act out. So it's good to have a bit of impulse control here. Then we have an important thing happening. The nodes will be changing from Aries and Libra to Pisces and Virgo. So your North and South node have been in Aries and Libra, and they'll now move to Pisces and Virgo, which means you will restore harmony and balance to your friendships, but also your dating life and how you express yourself. This could also be linked to children as well. So your purpose may become much clearer from now on. So the North Node has been in Aries since about 2023 and has set you up for the life that's waiting for you. But now in Pisces, you can experience greater purpose with expressing yourself creatively, having children, or basically doing the opposite and going out and having dates. Uranus will then be direct in Taurus on the 30th of January. So Uranus will go direct in your Taurus 7th house of committed relationships. So expect some unexpected, as it were, shake-ups with commitments and relationships, maybe some news you didn't expect. For some of you, this could be a proposal, I assume. But if you experience any issues from May to September 2024, then these may return now. The lessons that you learned from that time can be revisited now. February 2025, Venus will be entering Aries in the 6th house on the 2nd of February. So Venus enters your 6th house of co-workers and physical wellness. This brings excitement and passion to these opportunities. You could feel like any injuries that you've had are, starting to get a little bit better, or you have some real movement when it comes to the aesthetics of working out at the gym, for example. It's a good energy. It's a nice sort of motivated energy. I will say Venus is debilitated in Aries, so it's not going to be as harmonious as it could be if it was in Libra, for example. But it's still good. Then we have Jupiter direct in Gemini in the 8th house on the 2nd of February. So this brings expansive opportunities and they can pick up again now. You're actually actively doing something here. So you can have luck in investing in that 8th house and creating a strong bond with somebody. It's great energy for starting something new with luck, reinventing your personal relationships or investments. I do also want to note that Jupiter is expansive, so whatever is next to Jupiter in your personal chart is going to expand too. So always be careful about what is next to Jupiter, because you could say, yeah, I'm going to be so lucky with this, and then you have Chiron in the next segment and you're like, so always check your personal chart before assuming that Jupiter is going to make something really lucky. I just want to say that. Then you have Mars direct in Cancer in the 9th house. So Mars will go direct in your 9th house of study and travel. So you'll be evaluating your frustrations with this and revealing some trauma about this as well. Maybe you never got to travel. Maybe your study routine got disrupted. You're kind of focusing on this head on. Again, Mars is very aggressive and Cancer is highly sensitive. So this could be a little bit difficult for you. March 2025, Venus will be retrograding in Aries in the 6th house on the 1st of March. So this can bring out existing issues in your relationships and you can get annoyed by other people, especially co-workers in the 6th house. And because this is Aries, it can be a little bit more angry than normal. With the 6th house, focus on forgiving yourself and how you trust others, especially co-workers. You may focus on your dream appearance here because Venus is all about aesthetics and retrograde is about thinking about those aesthetics. And because Venus is debilitated in Aries, you might need to be a bit more flexible emotionally. And also because Mercury will be entering Aries on the 3rd of March as well. So might need a little bit of ice water when it comes to this. So really might be careful with co-workers here. But with the physical wellness, you're thinking more about what you want from that from an aesthetic point of view and how it's going to help you in your life. Then we have a Virgo lunar eclipse in the 11th house on the 14th of March. Very strong, disciplined energy of the Virgo here. This can be time to finish many important projects. Good time to release any stagnant energy around your friendships or letting go of a business partner or co-worker. So we have a Mercury retrograde in Aries in the 6th house on the 15th of March. So Mercury retrograde brings communication issues, technology issues, delays, things coming back from the past, that kind of thing. So with Venus also retrograding in Aries, this can be quite a challenging period, a lot of angst and aggression. So it's good to focus on Zen calmness here. You may have miscommunications with co-workers or misunderstandings for example, at a GP or a doctor's. Then we have a Venus retrograde in Pisces at the 5th house, 27th of March. So some old energy with relationships could make you feel tired, a subconscious trauma could emerge. Again, you're thinking about what you want from relationships in a very dreamy way, especially in that 5th house. You could be like thinking more about what you want from a dating perspective, like doing a list of what I want from a date before I go on the date, that kind of thing. And focus on the love that you really want and use that delusion of Pisces to manifest some attention too. Then Mercury retrograde enters Pisces in the 5th house on the 29th of March. So alongside Venus in Pisces, we have this very highly spiritual, karmic and intuitive communication around love. So be open to all the lessons that this brings. And again, be careful about communicating with dating. You could say the wrong thing or there could be a delay with a date, for example. You could also have some miscommunication with a partner over children and what you really want from your family life. Then Neptune enters Aries in the 6th house on the 30th of March. Neptune is the planet of clarity and spirituality, and Aries is active with spirituality. So this may cause a spread of something in the 6th house. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but it could be that something that is existing with a physical health thing spreads. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. Like I'm not saying that. I'm saying this could be like, could be a good thing. You know, it could be that you take something, medication, for example, and then it works, or the spread of something is that something grows, right? So you go to the gym and your muscles grow. So there's so many facets to this. This is not necessarily a bad thing. The Aries is because it's like Neptune is very spiritual and Aries is not so much. That's why I'm saying it's a little bit but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It might be a bit bad thing when Neptune and Saturn go into Aries together. That's more of an issue with the world, less so you, Scorpio. Then we have an Aries solar eclipse on the 29th of March in your 6th house of co-workers and physical health. So the Aries solar eclipse will really trigger energy and that you need to take action with its issues arising now. This is less so letting go of something, but for me, more so reframing things and starting something new. So you might want to reframe something rather than fully letting it go because of the retrogrades in the 6th house. You could be feeling very linked to maybe reframing a wellness routine or letting go of some type of thing with that, or starting a new project with a co-worker, for example, and maybe reframing the way that you're working on that project with that person. April 2025, Mercury will be direct in Pisces in the 5th house on the 7th of April. So communication is easier now. You can communicate your feelings with sort of innermost thoughts with ease. Good energy when it comes to communicating with a date or getting on a romantic level with somebody. Good for creative inspiration as well. Then Venus will be direct in Pisces in the 5th house as well on the 12th of April. So you may experience better manifestations around your love life, specifically in that 5th house of dating. You feel a bit less burdened by having to keep up appearances and spread your wings. And you're kind of really going for it when it comes to love, I think, here. You feel a lot lighter. Just also like love of hobbies and things that you like to do as well, because it's the 5th house of hobbies as well. The return. So Mars is back in Leo in the 10th house on the 18th of April. So think back to issues that you had in November, December 2024, or when you're watching this now. What are they? What were they? How did you deal with them? You can type some loose ends here, feel more energy with your career. But again, be careful about that Mars and Leo frustration causing heightened emotions. Then Venus is back in Aries in the 6th house on the 30th of April, where it's debilitated. So you can bring back any unfinished business from March now and deal with it head on. You can be a bit more enthusiastic and energetic in love, but you could also be a bit more impulsive too. So this is one to balance. May 2025, Pluto will be retrograding in Aquarius in the 4th house on the 4th of May. So you may have experienced some intense transformations around your home and your family, but now these slow down and you think more of these internally. So you're not necessarily doing anything on the external outward appearance of your home and family, like making any changes to the home or your family. You're thinking about it. And I think that's going to be quite pivotal for you, especially because you have a lot of 5th house energy with children as well. So there's definitely some energy of children here. So Saturn enters Aries in the 6th house on the 24th of May, which is a little bit scary. So Saturn is the planet of restrictions and harsh lessons, and Aries is war. So this can be a bit of a taunting energy. I see world leaders kind of like taunting each other and kind of like puppet on string energy, and it's a little bit like, oh, for God's sake, you are grown adults, that kind of energy. Saturn in your 6th house can show boundaries and growth around physical routine and your health, and also co-workers, like you're setting boundaries around co-workers in a sort of more angry way, being like, I leave at 4 p.m. You're not my boss. Leave it at that kind of thing. Aries is forward moving and Saturn is kind of the rope around you. So you may feel a bit constricted here more than usual. June 2025 is a nice month. We have Jupiter entering Cancer in the 9th house on the 9th of June. Beautiful energy here. Mercury also enters Cancer the day before, so great communication and expansive for study and travel with the Jupiter influence. So you could meet new foreign contacts here because Jupiter and 9th house are together. And this could be a really good energy for kind of contact with people in your study program that help you out, or again you meet people that you're traveling with, and it, like, you know, you end up getting more contacts. It's a nice energy here. It's lucky and abundant, so you could have more experience traveling and seeing the world with that Jupiter Sagittarius kind of influence. Then Mars enters Virgo in the 11th house on the 17th of June. Fabulous energy for productivity, especially with Virgo. Great time to use any frustrations into being productive. But again, in that 11th house, avoid issues with friends because of the Mars angst. July 2025, Neptune will be retrograding in Aries in your 6th house on the 4th of July. So Neptune retrograde brings a kind of foggy energy, and in Aries this can be like fighting against the wind. It's kind of like there's a mirror with dust on it and you punch the mirror because you can't see clearly. So you get frustrated at the lack of clarity. So try to stay tapped into your intuition, and in the 6th house focus on the path you're on with your health and what you really want from it. Like, don't get discouraged by it. Then Uranus will enter Gemini in the 8th house on the 7th of July. Uranus is settled in Gemini because it's the communication house and because it's the higher octave of Mercury. So this will bring out the box ideas, very innovative with your investments in this 8th house. You could also find that you have some, I won't say shock, but interesting news when it comes to a personal, intimate relationship. So open your mind to new ways of thinking and new stories around who you are too. Then we have retrogrades again. So we have a Saturn retrograde in Aries in the 6th house on the 13th of July. So this restricts our options even more and makes you feel very trapped with a toxic coworker, for example, or with injuries, or like maybe not being able to work out as much as you'd like for whatever reason. But we can use the Aries energy here to tap into our creativity and remind ourselves that we're not trapped. There are several options out there. So again, we're not necessarily doing anything to really set boundaries in place. We're thinking about them. Then we have a Mercury retrograde in Leo in the 10th house on the 18th of July, which is a great time for second chances with somebody that you've fallen out of contact with, maybe an old work colleague or an ex. But be careful with your career here and communicating. So be careful about your communicating with co-workers and your boss, because there is a bit of an onus on co-workers here or clients this year. Then we have August 2025, Mars will be entering Libra in the 12th house in the 6th of August. So Mars and Libra are complete opposites. It's the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, right? So this is about understanding others to the fullest. Great energy and drive for getting joy and working on your mental health in that 12th house and using the passion of Mars to enhance this. But you could find that you get frustrated with mental health particularly. Then Mercury will be direct in Leo in the 10th house on the 11th of August. Mercury direct is good because it helps us channel our motivation to move forward with our plans. Communication is easier and generally things just have more of a forward trajectory. So use this energy alongside Mars and Libra to manifest better career opportunities in that 10th house in your life. Venus will also enter Leo in the 10th house on the 25th too, and that will enhance the harmony around your career. September 2025, Saturn will enter Pisces in the 5th house on the 1st of September, and it will stay there for the rest of the year. So any Saturn and Pisces kids like myself can revisit any lessons from the last 2 to 3 years. I don't like that it's going back to Pisces, but I'm also happy it's not in Aries now as well. So Scorpio, focus on the constrictions that affect your dating life, children, or how you can express yourself creatively. Uranus retrograde in Gemini, 8th house on the 6th of September. So this can slow down any of those new ideas or innovations that we had when Uranus was direct, with investing particularly, or personal relationships. You may have a bit of a shock or change you don't want. You could receive some kind of news that's not necessarily bad, but you're like, oh God, what do I do with this? Or you could also feel in a rut as well. Then we have some important eclipses coming up. We have a Pisces lunar eclipse on the 5th house on the 7th of September, which is a real end and release here. Great time to let go with capital letters of issues surrounding dating, children, or being restricted too much with not being able to be creative. So this could feel really cathartic for you. And then we also have a Virgo solar eclipse in the 11th house on the 21st of September, which is where you can start a new project and focus on new plans and goals with friendships. Could also think about starting to acquire new friendships or going to groups or teams that allow you to, have a new tribe with your friendships. Then October 2025, Pluto will be direct in Aquarius in that 4th house of home and family on the 13th of October. So you can now focus on moving forward with those major transformations for your home and family. And you can actually move forward and feel good about, actually going through that metamorphosis when it comes to the 4th house. Then Neptune will enter Pisces in the 5th house on the 22nd of October. So Neptune will return to Pisces, which is great because Neptune, Pisces, alles gut. So you can revisit issues with dating and being creative and focus on that clarity. It's a great time for meditation and kind of tapping into your spiritual side even more, especially with the creative energy as well, and maybe being artistic and using that spiritual side to be more artistic or to channel it into hobbies. Then November 2025, Uranus will enter Taurus in the 7th house on the 7th of November. Innovation and shake-up with committed relationships here. So any changes to security you had with commitments and how you experience joy in your relationships, which you've had been in effect recently, they can be worked on now. You could have interesting news when it comes to committed relationships. Some of you could potentially be getting commitment from somebody or, engagement, that kind of thing. And it's a bit shocking and you're like, okay, fair enough. And then Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius in the 2nd house on the 9th of November. You may feel like you can't communicate, open up to somebody, or you want to run for the hills. That's Sagittarius energy. Exes could revisit here with a Mercury retrograde, and you could experience delays with finances in that 2nd house of income. So it could be a disruption to your income stream, or you could find that you're not able to acquire something because you don't have the finances for it, or there is some kind of financial advisor that's like not giving you the communication you want, like with a house, for example, with your Pluto and Aquarius and home and family with a house. Then we have retrogrades version 400. So Jupiter will be retrograding in Cancer in the 9th house on the 11th of November. So you're not necessarily doing anything to work towards your goals, you're evaluating them. So this retrograde will have us evaluating any projects and dreams from this year, specifically around the 9th house of study and travel. But you'll also be able to look at dreams and what you feel destined for as well. So you are sitting in a dark room and sort of rethinking rather than doing anything active. Then you have a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio in your 1st house of self on the 18th of November. This is very passionate. Exes could return with full force here. You could have issues around your identity here. With that 1st house and Mercury retrograde, I wouldn't make any drastic changes to appearance. I definitely wouldn't cut your hair either. First direct, so Saturn will be direct in Pisces in the 5th house on the 27th of November. I thought this was kind of cool because we have a banking thing called First Direct. Well, in the UK, I don't know if you have it in other parts of the world. And I just thought it was a funny little thing, and I just thought to myself, oh, I'm so smart. So Saturn direct in Pisces, this can give us a tiny bit more freedom and some more clarity, and you can feel a little bit less trapped with dating and creativity as well. You're like, I'm setting my boundaries about when I go to work and when I be creative and my hobbies. And you're also setting boundaries around, what you'll expect from dating as well. Like, I expect you to pay on this date, that kind of thing. Mercury will then be direct in Scorpio in that 1st house of self on the 29th of November. The last Mercury retrograde of the year, so now we're finally direct. We can move forward, and for you, Scorpio, you can make really good decisions about your purpose, and you can also make changes to your appearance now as well. Then the last month of the year, December 2025, Mars will be retrograding in Leo in the 10th house on the 6th of December. So Mars retrograding in Leo again, this will bring irritation and anger to your career. Try to focus on communicating your needs in a calm way because, again, this is frustrating. You could lash out at work and it's not necessarily a good thing. Then Neptune will be direct in Pisces in that 5th house of dating and creativity. So you can have some more clarity now with being creatively expressive, and you just generally feel a bit more sort of like attuned to spirituality as well. So Scorpio, that was your 2025 horoscope. I obviously didn't mention everything that's going on because I do weekly and monthly horoscopes that go into more detail here. But generally you're focusing on transformations in your 5th house of dating and creativity, either being more creatively expressive. You're focused on maybe settling down and having children, and also focusing on the transformation of like maybe going out and having dates. It depends who you are. You could be on one side of having children with a committed partner. You could be like having dates. Some of you could be dating and then end up having children. You know, it comes together, like things happen, right? Life moves quick. So there's some energy there. There is a really big focus on your physical wellness routine, especially if you've had injuries. I really see you focusing on working on how good you feel inside, reducing inflammation in your body, gaining strength, just feeling good about your appearance. And there's also some elements of studying and traveling as well, either entering a study program or reading more and getting more knowledge, learning a language, that kind of thing, or traveling and being more expansive. You don't necessarily have to be traveling really far out of state or across the world. You could just be traveling to new places within the place that you live as well, and being like, hey, I don't, this has been like 10 minutes down the road for me, I never go, and just being a little bit more open to new opportunities when it comes to traveling. So Scorpio, this is an interesting year for you. I really like to focus on the dating and creativity house. I think this is really nice. I also like that you're focusing on your wellness routine, because once you work on that, you know, you really start to see a lot of big changes in your life, and it's quite good. So hopefully you enjoyed this reading, and I hope you have a lovely 2025, and thanks for watching. Bye.